Hello my great people, karibuni to another episode of Commerce Chronicles, and as usual guys, niko hapa na mgeni wetu, and before nimpatie chance ajiintroduce guys, this show is proudly sponsored by Dunamis Rug Group of Companies. They deal with property management. Kama uko pale you are landlord and managing your property is becoming a headache, don't worry, they'll sort you out. And also if you want to move in somewhere and you're wondering where to move in, where to find a house, Dunamis Rug Group of Companies will sort you. Pia kama uko na biashara and you're wondering where to put up your business, they will sort you. Their numbers are right here on the screen. Just reach them out na utasaidika. So now guys, kama vile nilikuwa nimewapromise, I have my guest over here. Nitapatia chance atuambie yeye ni nani, his name, where he comes from and what he does.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me over here to Voro. I'm Regan Mogasho from Dunamis Rock Group of Companies. We are a top-tier property management company based here in Embu County. We are located at Kindaroma Building, just along SN Patel Road, next to Ewasco offices and Nokra Silver Oak Hotel. We are located at the second floor of Kindaroma Building. We serve in real estate, but more so in commercial, property management and residential. So whether a property owner has rentals that are for commercial purposes, we serve, and as well residential real estate rentals for tenants now we serve.
Oh, wow, amazing. So before we dive much deeper into the interview, could you please explain to our viewers what is property management?
Really, I can say in simple terms that property management involves the daily oversight of a property. This is a situation whereby a property owner will contract a third-party contractor. Now, besides themselves, you contract an agency, like most people know us to be agents. So you contract an agency and they undertake the tasks to see to the end that the property is well, all the activities that are required to make the returns on investment actualized, undertaken. And that involves the marketing of the apartment to get the tenants. That involves the tenant screening. Once you get the tenants, you find out who they are, their details. Are they worth the value that the landlord has placed on their property? And then we go ahead to do, after tenant screening, then we do rent collection every month. And then after rent collection, we do financial reporting and then the overall maintenance of the property.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So you like take the weight of the property owner so that they don't have to struggle so much about managing their properties.
Yes.
So what inspired you to venture ama to join this type of industry?
It's because really, if you look at the real estate landscape in Kenya, there is a gap between the big and huge investment that many people have done. People have bought land, people have spent a lot of money to put up huge constructions. But after they do that, they don't really have the time to look for tenants. And it takes a lot to actually find tenants, you know. People tend to think you've done 90% of the task just by building, until they actually wake up to discover that building is not enough. You need to put in more work after you have built. You need to look for tenants, you need to look for somebody to oversee the property even after you found the tenants, and it's a task that really requires somebody to be there every day. So we realize that there is a huge gap between people who have built and them actually finding the returns on investment after putting in a lot of money. So that's what inspired us to bridge the gap and create the solution by being property managers.
So what are these advantages that a property owner, you've mentioned some of them, but maybe in a wider way, like what are these advantages that as a property owner I'm going to get if I have my property managed by Dunamis?
The best thing is time redemption. You're going to redeem time because you're not going to need to be there personally or physically at the property. You just contract us, and then every after 30 days or 31 days, as the month may be, you just get your rent. You don't even know your tenants. There are landlords whom we are serving and they don't even know their tenants, but they are getting the full value of their apartments, right? So you redeem time. You're doing other things, you're catering for your other businesses, and yet your property is bringing in a full value to you. Yes, please.
Yes, and the rent collection, there's somewhere you mentioned about rent collections. So how do you deal with that rent collection? For example, I know that maybe you deal with maybe more than one apartment, more than one property. So how do you deal with the rent collection of every apartment?
Really, we have a database, and then as we have a database that we have scripted the details of all the tenants. It's a huge database, and then we have a network of agents. So we really divide the work, because if you do what do they call it, division of labor, right? So though there are many apartments, we have a network of agents to make the work easier. So we network, we divide the apartments amongst the agents. So every apartment has people that really give it the attention that is due, to the point that every one unit, even if a landlord gives us a portfolio of about 300 tenants, if one tenant is to shift, we will know, because we have a network of agents. Yes, please.
If someone wants to venture into the business, like maybe someone wants to become a property manager, what are the qualifications required? Do I have to go through training? What happens?
Really, yes, you have to, yes, you need to be trained, because really, yes, it's true that there are skills that you will need. But I would say now, from my own experience, one of the things that you require for property management is to build a track record of integrity, because many people, now I'm speaking for if you've already established a company, you're looking for people to trust you, right? Because people are looking for somebody that they can trust with their value. So you need to invest in building a track record of integrity. When you say that you can manage a property and that you'll be delivering rent to the landlords, or even the deposit, I'm going way ahead of myself here. So you need to be somebody that can be trusted. Can you actually deliver on your promises, right? If you promise that if you deliver, because now one of the challenges we've had really is that many people out there are skeptical about property managers, because there are people that really absconded with money belonging to landlords. They make promises and they couldn't deliver on them. Maybe they say this month we've collected something like 400,000, and it's not true. There's maybe 800, and there's some money that was confiscated. So if you can build a track record of integrity, if you can get people to trust you, you can make it as a property manager.
So it's about you creating a trustworthy, like.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. And you said you deal with is it specific properties? It's like general things.
We do we do commercial property management. This is where we manage shops for business owners. Somebody is renting to establish a business, not a residential. Now, residential is different, but we also serve in residential, whereby somebody is renting a place, but really they just want to live there, maybe with their family, or they themselves just want to live there. It's not commercial. So whether it's commercial property management, we are doing it in Embu Town and beyond, and as well residential. Yes, please.
And for someone who's looking for a vacancy, wants to move in somewhere, how do you help such a person?
Oh, they just have to call our office line, right? It's 0793 309 325, and just update us on what kind of house they're looking for, and then we're able to attach an agent to take them to see the house. Yes, please.
And the government has some measures, some legal requirements that they need. What are these requirements that a property managing company needs to be able to be compliant to government law?
Well, first of all, I would say any property management company has to have a work ethic that is compliant with the land and tribunal laws, because there are laws of the land that protect both the landlords and the tenants. So every property manager, including Dunamis Roa Group of Companies, we are registered with the law, right? We have a representative in the Law Society of Kenya. We are registered, and then our work ethics are compliant with the land and tribunal officers. Yes, please, to protect the interests of the landlords and those of the tenants.
And how, as a Dunamis Rock group of companies, how do you stay compliant? You make sure that you follow these rules?
We have advocates. right? I mentioned that we have representatives in the Law Society of Kenya. So those advocates are the ones that give us standard operating procedures, and as well they're the ones that have designed our what I would call our modus operandi. The way we operate is dictated by the advocates because they understand what the government requires and they have scripted our laws to operate in harmony with the government's requirements. Yes.
Amazing. And if I am a landlord and I want to maybe work with you with property management, with the property management company, what do I need any capital, what do I need to do in regards to finances? Do I have to pay you something?
I think that's where most people get it wrong, and that's where the wrong attitude towards property managers comes from. Because most people look at it from the standpoint of these people are coming to get paid and they're looking for money, or they're coming to take from me. We're not coming to take from you, we are coming to give you value, right? Because imagine a situation I've dealt with, or not I, we've dealt with landlords that have had properties, but they're not getting any value from their properties because the management is really not up to the standard. So when you come and employ us, we're not coming for a payday, we're not coming for a check, we are coming to give you value, and then after your property can pay you, then you are the one to evaluate whether you should pay us or not. You see? So when you're signing a contract with us, you do not pay. It is after we have served and you see your value producing the value, you see your property producing the value that you need, that then you can pay us.
Amazing. And in regards to the landlords, there's someone who's a landlord and wants to work with you. Kulingana na the rent, ama the pricing of the houses, ama the properties, is it you who decides, ama it's the landlord?
Really, it's we give the landlord the priority in that we do evaluation with them, right? If you come and tell us you would be open to us to manage your property, we ask you how many rental units do you have? Are they 10? Are they 15? Are they 8? Are they 40? Of the 40, how much do you charge for each of the units? Then once you tell us, then we can evaluate how much you should expect to get from the property, and then we promise you on how much we can deliver, right, to get that value to be brought to you, and then we only charge a very small commission on what you'll be getting.
And for example, I'm someone looking for a vacant place. Maybe I'm a student. I'm looking for, like, let's say, a bedsitter. Do I have to pay something extra above the rent to be like connected to the agent or something?
In fact, that's a very good question, because that's how you can tell the counterfeits and the authentic property managers. You do not have to pay anything extra above the rent, right? Our job is to give the landlord the value. Once you can pay the landlord's standard charge for his rent, for us as property managers, we've done our job and we'll be paid. So anyone charging anything above rent is not an authentic property manager. And that's why Dunamis, through a group of companies, we do not charge anything on top of the rent.
Wow. So guys, before we dive deeper into the interview, let's go for a short break. But let me remind you that this show is proudly sponsored by Dunamis Rock Group of Companies. They deal with property management. And if you are a landlord somewhere, someone with a property and you want it to be managed, don't worry, Dunamis Rock Group of Companies got you. And also, if you want to move in somewhere, don't worry, you can also contact them and they will connect you with a good house. So see you after the break.